Let me tell you something about Abby. My wife used to be obsessed with the movies. I mean, full-on obsessed. If I wanted to make her smile or get back in her good graces, all I had to do was say, "Hey babe, want to catch a movie tonight?" Boom. Day saved. But not just any movie. Nah, she had standards. If it wasn't animated, loaded with explosions, dripping with drama, or soaked in romance, she wasn't interested. And if Tom Torino, Matt Wright, or Brad freaking Talbot was in it, she'd already bought the tickets before I finished the sentence. I still remember our very first date. I took her to see Sleepless in Seattle. Classic, right? She wasn't into Tom Hanks at all, said he was too dad energy. But that story got her good. Years after we tied the knot, she admitted, "I think that was the night I started falling for you." I laughed at the time. I still don't fully get why that movie did it, but hey, I'm not going to complain. 12 years later, and Abby? Still a head turner, no lie. 5'6", 115 pounds. Curves that still make me pause when she walks by in jeans. That long jet black hair and those piercing green eyes. Combo. When she gets dolled up for a night out, it's like time hits rewind. Guys stare, women notice, and I just smile because she's mine. Name's John Sawyer, by the way. I'm no slouch myself. 6'1", 180, gym 3 times a week. Blondish hair, blue eyes. We've been told more than once we look like the perfect couple on a magazine ad. You know the type. Happy, polished, golden lighting. Back in college, before I met Abby, I wasn't exactly struggling in the dating department. But the moment I met her, everything else just kind of faded. We were freshmen, clicked instantly, and the rest was history. 4 years later, right after graduation, we got married. I thought she was it, my forever, my person, and I'd have sworn on everything that she felt the same. We've got 2 daughters now, love them more than life. But real talk, trying to be intimate with toddlers banging on the door is a whole other skill set. You wait for moments, you learn to improvise, you find joy in silence. Anyway, tonight was supposed to be special. Just the 2 of us, finally. We'd planned it out, dinner, dancing, a hotel room booked downtown. The grandparents had the girls. The stars had aligned. I thought we were in for a night of music, drinks, maybe some slow dancing, and then, well, some real quality time. It was a memorable night, just not in the way I expected. We got to the club, and instantly I could tell something was off. There was this weird tension in the air. The girls in our group seemed jumpy, and Chad, one of the guys, had this smug grin on his face, like he was in on a joke the rest of us didn't know. We were out with 3 couples, George and Helen, Bob and Anna, and Chad and Thelma. I genuinely liked George and Bob. George was this laid-back programmer type, solid guy. Helen was a full-time mom with 3 wild kids, but somehow always looked put together. Bob was old school, ran a plumbing business, honest dude. Anna, his wife, kept the books and made margaritas. Now, Chad and Thelma, different story. I tolerated them. Thelma was all right, fun even, but Chad rubbed me the wrong way. Full-on arrogant, always name-dropping like he was trying to convince everyone he mattered. Apparently, he worked in film. He once said he was an agent, but I got the feeling it was more LinkedIn bio than reality. Meanwhile, Thelma made serious cash repping Big Pharma. She wore the pants, let's be honest. But Abby and Thelma were old college roommates, thick as thieves, so I kept my mouth shut and played nice with Chad. I work in finance, big brokerage house. Started slow, built up my client list, and now I've got more than I can handle. The company rule is, once you hit a threshold, you start training a new guy and offload your less profitable clients to them. I've done that twice now. I keep the whales and let the rookies feed on the scraps. It's a good life, no complaints. Abby used to be the assistant to Mike Winston, big shot VP at a regional bank. When we had the kids, she stayed home for a while. Then one day, Mike, now bank president, calls her out of the blue and asks if she wants to come back part-time. She asked me what I thought. I told her, do it. You need your own thing too. And no, before you even think it, there's no affair. Mike's pushing 63, bald, soft-spoken, and madly in love with his wife and their 5 kids. Man's basically allergic to cheating. So, not even a question. Anyway, back to the club. The energy was off, but I ignored it. I was in the mood to dance and enjoy my wife. We split off once inside, everyone saying hi to old friends, getting drinks. That's when I saw Fred Abbott, college buddy, and his wife Brenda. We were catching up when the DJ started spinning something slow and arousing. I glanced over to where Abby was sitting, just about to join her, when I noticed everyone turning toward the front door. The music didn't stop, but a ripple went through the crowd. People started whispering. Phones came out. Something was happening. Brenda clutched Fred's arm. "Oh my God," she gasped. Fred blinked at her. "What?" she pointed. "Don't you recognize him?" Fred and I turned. All I saw was this shorter dude, maybe 5'7", slick hair, suit, confidence dripping off him. Fred shrugged. "Who is that?" "That's Brad Talbot," she hissed. "And if he's here, maybe Rita Summers is too. They're everywhere right now. TikTok, Netflix, late-night shows. They're like Hollywood's it couple." Fred grinned, nudging me. "Yo, if Rita's here, bro, she's a solid 15 out of 10. Brenda rolled her eyes and slapped his shoulder. "Keep dreaming, lover boy." That's when it hit me. Brad Talbot, Abby's ultimate celeb crush. She watched every movie he's ever been in, even the trashy ones. I thought maybe I'd get his autograph for her or snap a pic. Didn't need to. Brad walked straight to our table, smiled that $1,000,000 smile, and asked my wife to dance. And what did she do? She jumped up like a damn teenager, beaming ear to ear, and went with him. No hesitation, no glance my way. 4 songs, 4. While I stood there, jaw clenched, watching the woman I love dance with the guy she's dreamed about since before we even met. I stormed over to the table and dropped into the chair, jaw clenched and fists tight. I didn't say a word, but my eyes were locked on Abby, still laughing, still dancing with that smug, pretty boy Brad like I didn't even exist. Not a damn glance in my direction, not even a, "You good with this?" Nothing. By the time the 5th song rolled in, I'd had enough. I was about to walk straight over and cut in, drag her off that dance floor. But right then, Chad knocked his glass off the table like a goddamn idiot. It shattered, and he fumbled like a clown to pick it up. "John, can you help me out, man?" he asked, holding up his hand like he'd lost a finger. There was a little blood. "Yeah, but come on." I shot a glance at Abby, still swaying with Brad like it was prom night. I should have gone to her, should have made a goddamn scene. But instead, like a fool, I followed Chad to the men's room. Once inside, I saw the injury, a tiny A cut, barely a scratch. "You serious right now?" I muttered, grabbing some paper towels. "Thought it was worse," he said with that dumb smile. I slapped the towel in his hand, wiped off the blood, and walked out. But the second I hit the floor again, Abby was gone. Just a glimpse. Her hair, her laugh, slipping out the door with Brad. I bolted. Chad was right behind me, which was already pissing me off. We pushed through the doors and into the parking lot. That's when I saw it. Abby, sliding into Brad's shiny little car like she belonged there. Then that fool kissed her hand like they were in some old-school romance flick, and she laughed. Before I could move, Chad kicked my leg out from under me. I hit the ground hard, palms scraping asphalt, but I was up fast. "What the F did you just do?" I barked, ready to swing. Chad just grinned. "Relax, Brad's just taking your wife for a little spin." My whole body went hot. Then Thelma popped out of nowhere like a damn gremlin. "This is Abby's dream date," she said, smug as hell. "She told us she's into Brad, so we set it up." I blinked, stunned. "Are you freaking kidding me?" My voice cracked with rage. "She's my wife, and nobody thought, maybe, just maybe, I should know she's planning her fantasy date with another man?" Chad shrugged, still grinning, like this was some kind of prank. "She said you'd flip, so figured it's better this way. Just go with the flow, bro. Go with the..." I lost it. "F your flow." I launched at him, fist first. My knuckles cracked against the bridge of his nose. It crunched like a crushed beer can. He hit the ground, howling and grabbing his face. That should have been the end of it, but Thelma screeched and came at me like a maniac, swinging wild and trying to kick. Fred, thank God for Fred, was already jogging over. He yanked her back like she was a misbehaving toddler and shoved her down on the curb. "He kicked my husband! Arrest him!" Thelma shrieked like a banshee. Fred stayed cool. "Nah, I saw the whole thing," he said, dead calm. "They came at him. He was defending himself." Thelma lost it and dialed emergency like she was calling in a homicide. Cops rolled up about 10 minutes later, lights flashing, sirens off. They came in all serious, asking questions, taking notes. Fred gave his version first. Then I jumped in and added the part where Chad clipped me in the legs before things really went sideways. The people who showed up once all hell broke loose. Yeah, they only saw Thelma going for my throat. They told the cops I was just trying to walk away while she came at me like a lunatic. In the end, both Chad and Thelma got cuffed and hauled out. When the dust settled and the cops finally left, I felt like I'd been run over emotionally. I dragged myself back to our table. Two of the women were still sitting there, sipping on what was left of their drinks, smiling like nothing had happened. Helen looked up. "Where is everyone?" I clenched my jaw. "Chad and Thelma arrested, attack charges. On me?" I took a breath. "And Abby? She took off with Brad. Looked like she was floating." Anna's face tightened. "It wasn't supposed to go like this. I thought she was just stepping out for some photos. A quick flex for social media, then back to the table." I let out a bitter laugh. "Yeah, well, seems like Abby and Thelma didn't fill you in on the full plan." I stood up. "I need a drink." I headed to the bar, and Fred caught up with me halfway through my whiskey. "You gonna be all right?" he asked, eyes full of worry. I stared into my glass. Man, I have no clue what the hell is happening right now. I'm just hoping she's out driving around with Mr. Hollywood and that she shows up soon. Because when she does, we're gonna have a very blunt conversation. Fred hesitated, then leaned in a little. "Look, John, I hate to be that guy, but Brenda told me something about Brad. Apparently the dude's got a reputation. A real thing for married women. Like, it's kind of his game. I'm not saying Abby's part of that, but maybe brace yourself just in case." My stomach dropped. A wave of nausea hit me, but I nodded like I had it together. "Thanks, man. I'll handle it." Before heading back to the table, I pulled out my phone and tried calling Abby. Straight to voicemail. Not even one ring. When I got back, the whole vibe at the table was messed up. The women looked like they'd just been caught cheating on a test. The guys were steaming, jaws clenched, arms crossed, not talking to anyone. I kept dialing Abby over and over. Nothing. Eventually, the other two couples decided to head to the hotel. I told them I'd hang around a little longer, just in case Abby came back. I waited 30 more minutes. Still nothing. No call, no text, just silence. I finally gave up, grabbed my coat, and made my way to the hotel. I sat on the edge of the bed until almost 3 a.m., calling her every 10 minutes like a damn fool, still straight to voicemail. At some point, I just snapped, checked out, drove home, walked into the house around 4 in the morning, dropped onto the couch, and blacked out. I must have passed out because the next thing I knew, sunlight was cutting through the blinds. It was 7. I bolted upright, hoping maybe she came in and I hadn't heard it. I checked the bedroom, empty. I looked at my phone. No messages, no missed calls, just nothing. I sat down at the computer, logged into Facebook, and that's when it hit me like a truck. Pictures, everywhere. Brad and Abby walking out of the club together, hand in hand, laughing like teenagers. Paparazzi shots of them stepping into his car, then them at his house. Him with his arm around her, guiding her inside like she belonged there. My wife in his arms. I searched a few gossip sites. They were going crazy. Headlines like Brad's new love, mystery married woman, and Hollywood's favorite heartbreaker strikes again. I felt like I was going to puke. I wanted to scream, throw something, punch a wall, anything to release what was building up inside. Instead, I grabbed my phone and called my lawyer. It was Saturday, so the call forwarded to his house. He picked up groggy, not thrilled to hear from me, but once I told him what was going down, his tone shifted fast. "John," he said, voice firm now, "I know you're pissed. And I get it, but do not do anything rash. Wait until she comes home. Let her explain if she even tries. Then we go from there. You hear me?" I gritted my teeth. "Yeah, fine." But inside, I was already breaking. The door creaked open around 11. She stepped in like it was just another night, like I hadn't been sitting there boiling in my own rage for hours. Biggest smile, hair tossed like she'd had the time of her life. Her eyes hit mine, and that grin? Dead in a heartbeat. "John, listen," she started, voice high, nervous. "We didn't do anything, okay? We just talked. That's it. I know I should have asked, but you always say no, and I knew you'd freak. Brad's one of my favorite actors. You know that. Last night, it was like a dream. But nothing happened. I swear, I love you, not him." I stood up slow. No yelling, just venom in my voice. "You done lying?" I asked flatly. "Good. Now grab your crap and get the hell out." Her mouth dropped. "What? Are you serious right now?" I stepped closer. "Dead serious. I don't want to hear your excuses. I don't want to look at your face. I want you gone before I say or do something that lands me in jail." "Jesus, John, you're seriously going to kick me out over a night out? You're acting like I cheated." "Acting? Abby, you rolled into some prick's car, spent the night at his house, and now you're coming back here talking about fairy tales? What is this? Disney for hookers? Her face froze. I kept going. I wanted it to hurt. You humiliated me. In front of everyone. Everyone. There are pictures, you dumb freak, online, of you giggling like a groupie, crawling into Brad Talbot's car. And now I gotta watch it blow up on every trash website on the planet. You're exaggerating. Oh, I wish I was. Go ahead, check your phone. Bet it's full of articles calling you the next it girl who ditched her husband for some washed-up actor. You embarrassed me, you embarrassed your daughters. What the hell were you thinking? I wasn't, she muttered, voice cracking. No crap. Tears welled up in her eyes. I made a mistake, John. I thought maybe once you calmed down, we could talk like adults. I didn't mean to hurt you. You didn't mean, damn, you wanted attention. You wanted to play the movie star's little toy for a night. You knew exactly what you were doing when you climbed in his car. You just didn't think you'd have to deal with the fallout. She started sobbing. Please don't do this in front of the girls. Can we just, please? Oh, now the girls matter? I snapped. You didn't think about them last night when you were out playing sugar baby. What, you want them to grow up thinking this is how marriage works? Go chase your dream date while daddy sits at home looking like a clown? That broke her. She folded in on herself, shoulders shaking. I walked past her like she was a stranger, into the bedroom, ripped open the closet, grabbed her suitcase and started chucking her clothes in it. No care, no pause. Stop, please, I'll do it, she whispered. Good, do it faster, because if you're still here in 10 minutes, I swear to God, I'm putting your crap on the lawn and locking the door behind it. She sniffled, dragging the suitcase from my hands. Packed the rest with shaking hands. I didn't help, didn't speak, just stood there like a bouncer watching trash get thrown out the back. I waited until she stepped out the front door before I slammed it behind her. Hard. I stood at the window, watching to make sure she was really leaving. She opened the trunk, threw her bag in, and slid into the driver's seat. Then she just sat there, forehead pressed against the steering wheel, sobbing. And you know what? I didn't even feel bad for her. Not in that moment. I was too damn pissed. About 20 minutes passed before she finally started the car and pulled away. The second she was gone, I grabbed my phone and called my parents. Hey, something happened. Can you keep the girls a little longer? I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. If Abby comes around asking, just tell her I've got them, okay? They didn't ask for details, they just said yes. So now I was alone. Just me and the echo of what used to be a marriage. I paced the house, trying to piece everything together in my head. Abby kept swearing nothing happened with Brad. But my gut, it was screaming otherwise. Could I move past it if she was telling the truth? Maybe, if no one knew. If it had stayed between us and our friends, maybe I could have found a way. But it didn't. It exploded online. Now the whole damn world knew, and I couldn't see a way forward anymore. I wanted payback, badly, but I had no idea how to even start. So instead, I wandered through the house like a ghost, punching walls, yelling into the air, crying until my chest hurt. I felt completely powerless. I knew I couldn't touch Brad. Guy's a Hollywood A-lister, untouchable. But Abby? If she wanted out, I'd take her to court and fight for full custody. I knew the divorce would screw me financially, but if it came to that, I'd figure it out. I'd work from home, stay close to the girls. Honestly, I was the more stable parent anyway, no question. Abby probably didn't even think about the fact that her reckless night could actually cost her the kids. But thinking about what divorce would do to them, that nearly broke me. Around 1 p.m., I was brewing another cup of coffee, hands still shaking, when the phone rang. So far, no reporters had tracked down my number, but I knew it was just a matter of time. Hello? I answered, voice flat. Hi, is this John Sawyer? Your wife's Abby, right? A woman's voice, calm, clear. I snapped. If you're a reporter, don't bother. I'm not in the mood. She laughed softly, not mocking, more like someone who got it. Oh, no, she said. I hate reporters, too. I blinked. Okay, so who is this? My name's Rita Summers, she said, quieter now. You might know my fiancé. Brad Talbot. Oh, that hit. Yeah, I said, I know that jackass. I didn't know what she wanted, but I was already done with the conversation. Then she asked me something that caught me off guard. Do you still love your wife? I hesitated. That wasn't what I expected. I let out a slow breath. I do. Believe it or not, but after everything that's happened, I don't think there's anything left to save. I can't get past what she did, or what I think she did. There was a pause, then she said, "What if I told you there might be a way to fix this? To maybe save your marriage and also fix what Brad and I had?" My heart started racing. I sat down, suddenly dizzy. "I want that," I said honestly. "But I don't see how." She gave a sad little laugh. "Brad and I go way back, childhood friends. We both came from messed up homes. His dad was a serial cheater, and his mom, she hated men, showed Brad no love at all. Nothing he did was ever enough for her. I think he sleeps with married women because he's still chasing the love she never gave him." She took a breath, then continued. "My family was broken too. Drunk mother, abusive father, Brad was my safe place. Then his mom split and moved him away, and I cried for weeks. We reconnected years later after we both got famous. I'd heard the rumors about him, the women, the scandals, but when we saw each other again, it was like no time had passed. We fell hard, got engaged. He promised the married women stuff was behind him. And when I asked about your wife, he swore nothing happened." Abby said the same, I replied. "That nothing happened, but I don't know what to believe." "Neither do I," she said. "Knowing Brad like I do, bringing a woman into his house and not sleeping with her, it doesn't fit. But hey, crazier things have happened, right?" Then she got quiet for a second before continuing. "Either way, I'm working off the assumption that something did happen, and I want Brad to feel the weight of what he did to me, just like I want your wife to face what she did to you. And you think doing that could actually help us fix our relationships?" I asked. "I don't know," she admitted, "but if we're both willing, I think it's worth trying. At the very least, it gives us some control back." "I'm listening," I said. "But how exactly do we do that?" "I'm not doing this alone," she said. "You and me, we're in this together." That threw me. "Together how? What could I even do? I've got no power in this." "That's where you're wrong," Rita said, her voice suddenly sharper. "Step 1, you slowly open the door to talking to your wife again. Nothing big, just inch your way towards some kind of peace. I'll do the same with Brad." I raised an eyebrow. "Okay, and?" "In a couple of weeks, 2 or 3, max, let her move back in, just for appearance. I'll do the same with Brad. But here's the deal. You don't sleep with her, no matter what. You keep your distance. I'll tell you when the time is right. And when that time comes, we'll all sit down for dinner, the 4 of us, and I'll lay out the rest of the plan." "You expect me to let her back in my house after everything?" I asked, half laughing. "Yes," Rita said. "Because once she's back, we take control. We'll hit them where it hurts, not just emotionally, but psychologically. We show them what betrayal feels like, and maybe, just maybe, it'll be the slap in the face they both need." I didn't have any better ideas. Hell, I didn't have any ideas at all. So I took a breath and said, "All right, Rita, I'm in." First thing I did, called my parents. "Hey," I said, trying to sound normal. "I'll come by in about 30 minutes to grab the girls." No big explanation. Not yet. They already knew something was off. Everyone did. Next, I rang up Joni, my assistant. Told her I'd be working from home for the next week or so. The moment she picked up, I could tell from her voice, she already knew. The news about Abby and Brad had spread like wildfire. "I heard," she said quietly. "I'm so sorry, John. If there's anything I can do, seriously, just say the word." I thanked her and told her I'd handle it. She's a pro. She had my back. Then came the awkward one, calling Abby's parents. Her dad answered. You could hear the embarrassment bleeding through the phone. "John, I don't know what to say," he muttered. "We saw the news. It's just awful." When I asked if Abby was there, he sounded almost relieved. "Yes, of course, I'll get her." A second later, I heard her voice, soft, shaking. Then the tears hit. "I'm sorry," she kept saying. "John, I'm so sorry. I want to come home. Can we just talk? Please." I stayed calm. "Look, Abby, I think we need space, for now. I'm working from home next week. You're still going in Monday through Wednesday, right?" She sniffled. "Yeah." "Okay," I said. "How about this? I'll keep the girls until Wednesday. You pick them up that night, and then we'll talk. I'm getting them tonight, Sunday. Let's keep it simple." She broke down again. "John, please, I want to come home now. Don't you want us to be a family again?" I took a breath. "I thought we were already a family, Abby, but right now, I don't know what we are. Let's talk Wednesday, 5 o'clock. I picked up the girls, told them Mom was spending a few days with Grandma and Grandpa. Of course, they had a million questions, but I dodged most of them. When we pulled into McDonald's, the questions stopped. Happy Meals worked their magic. They ran around that play area for 2, maybe 3 hours. Laughed like nothing in the world was wrong. We ate dinner there, just the 3 of us. Felt almost normal for a minute, then we got home. The phone rang just as I was unlocking the front door. Unknown number. I debated picking up, but I did. "Mr. Sawyer?" a voice said. "Would you like to make a comment on your wife's alleged affair with Brad Talbot?" Click! I hung up without a word. The landline rang every 5 damn minutes. Same number, same noise, same nerve. I finally yanked the cord out of the wall and let it die. Around 6, my cell lit up. Abby. I stared at it, sighed, and answered. "What the hell is wrong with you?" she snapped. "Why aren't you answering the phone?" "Because I'm not giving sound bites to gossip leeches who want to quote about your late-night joyride with Brad Talbot," I said, cold as hell. "There's no romance, John," she hissed back. "I told you nothing happened." "Right. Maybe let the rest of the goddamn world know, because TMZ didn't get the memo." Silence. Just dead air on her end. Then, "Can I at least talk to the girls?" I handed the phone to Stacy without a word and sat down, listening. They talked about chicken nuggets and Happy Meals like nothing had exploded around them. Then Stacy gave me the phone again. "Mom wants to talk to you," she mumbled. I put it to my ear. "John, please, can I come home?" "No," I said. "I need time. And you need to think about what you did." Wednesday. She showed up an hour early. Of course she did. Couldn't follow one damn thing I said. I heard the girls scream, "Mommy!" from the living room. Abby walked in like nothing was wrong. Hugs, kisses, too much sugar-coated love. Then she came toward me, tried to kiss me. I stepped back. She froze. That fake warmth slid right off her face. "So, this is how it's gonna be now," she snapped. I shrugged. If it is, maybe I should just take the girls and go. Her eyes widened, panic flashing through them. "No, don't say that. We should talk. Sit down, please." The girls ran off to pack. Abby told them they were going to Grandma and Grandpa's. She waited till they were gone, then sat across from me. "What do we do now?" she asked, voice low like she was afraid of the answer. "I wish I had a damn clue," I muttered, leaning back. Right now, I'm pissed, I'm embarrassed, and I'm watching the whole world point and laugh at me like I'm the national poster boy for dumbass husband of the year. Abby's hands started shaking. "I made a huge mistake, John. Please. I love you. I'll do anything to fix this." I folded my arms and stared straight through her. "It ain't that simple. You didn't just screw up, Abby. You set fire to everything we built and smiled while you watched it burn. You know what I get now? I get strangers calling me a simp in the comments. I get coworkers whispering behind my back, 'You made me a goddamn punchline.'" She was crying now, full-on breakdown mode. "I didn't want to hurt you. I was excited, okay? It was Brad screwing Talbot. I got swept up. I thought maybe you'd get mad. Yeah, but not this." I laughed, sharp and bitter. "Well, congrats. You got your celebrity night. And now here we are with the fallout." I paused, let it hang, then dropped it. I talked to a lawyer. Her face jerked up, eyes wide. "What? Don't freak out. Yet. I'm not saying it's over," I lied. "But I am saying this. If this turns into a divorce, I'll be going for full custody, and I'm not bluffing." You can't take my girls," she stammered, panic in every syllable. "I'm not taking anything. You handed them over the second you trashed your name all over the internet? You think a judge is gonna pick the mom who ran off with a movie star over the dad who stayed home with the kids? Don't do this, please," she begged, hands clutching the table. "I'll do anything, I just want us back." "We'll talk," I said, voice flat. "Lunch, Sunday, when you bring the girls back." Her face twisted. "What if I decide they're staying with me? This back and forth. It's not good for them." I leaned in, eyes like daggers. "You try that crap, I file immediately, no warnings. And you better pray the judge doesn't have daughters of his own, because if he does and he sees what you pulled, you won't get a weekend, Abby. You'll get supervised visits and a parenting class." All the fight left her face. Her shoulders dropped, her lips trembled. "I don't want a divorce," she whispered. By the start of the second week, I decided it was time to head back to the office. My team greeted me with quiet sympathy. Supportive but not nosy, which I appreciated. It was a professional kind of respect. But of course, there had to be a couple of clowns who didn't get the memo. 2 clients, not many, just 2, Decided the whole situation with Abby and Brad was comedy gold, little wisecracks, smirks. One even said something like, "So, do you charge less when a movie star's involved?" I gave them a chance, told them to cut it out. But they didn't stop, so I made it real simple. "Look, I think it's best we part ways," I told them, calm but cold. "Your accounts are being transferred. Someone else will be handling your money." Suddenly they wanted to apologize, backpedaling hard, but I didn't budge. Once I lose respect for someone, that door stays shut. Word got around fast. After that, not a single person brought up my wife or Brad ever again. That afternoon, around 2, my phone buzzed. Rita. "You doing anything tonight?" she asked. "Nope," I said, curious. "Good. You're having dinner with me. Zoom, zoom, 7 sharp, suit and tie. Don't come looking like a banker on laundry day." Then she hung up, didn't ask, didn't wait, just dropped the bomb and vanished. Zoom, zoom, though. That one threw me. That place is legendary. Waiting list over a year long. Most people can't even get on the list. And the bill, let's just say the wine list alone could bankrupt a middle-class family. I pulled up at 7, dressed sharp. The host gave me a nod like I'd passed some secret test and led me to the back. Private room, soundproof, soft lighting. Just one table for 2, but the setup looked like something out of a luxury catalog. Velvet sofa off to the side. Clean, elegant, a little too intimate. Couldn't help but wonder how many people had made very bad decisions on that couch. About 5 minutes in, the door opened. Rita stepped through like she owned the place. I stood up and damn near forgot how to breathe. She looked incredible. Maybe 5'4", long golden blonde hair, soft brown eyes, and a dress that fit her like it was sewn onto her body. But it wasn't just that. It was her energy. She walked into that room like the air changed for her. And then she smiled. Not flirty, not fake, just honest, warm. And for the life of me, I couldn't understand how Brad Talbot could ever betray a woman like her. She sat down smoothly across from me. "Can I call you John?" I nodded. "Sure. And you prefer just Rita," she said with that soft laugh of hers like wind chimes. Made me smile without even trying. We ordered drinks, settled in. She asked about my work. I gave her the basics. But mostly I found myself telling dumb stories about my kids or cringy stuff I did in high school. She laughed at all the right moments, the kind of laugh that makes you forget your own mess, even if just for a little while. Dinner came and went, then she leaned back, gently swirling the wine in her glass. "All right," she said, voice softer but still sharp. "Time for the real talk." I looked up, ready. "You ever heard of Chad Tompkins?" she asked, raising a brow. "Well, that slick fool is the one who put this whole thing in motion, claims he's a film agent, but he's more like a broker for affairs. He finds weak people, bored wives, fame-hungry guys, and pairs them with celebs who don't care about consequences. He sets it up, they play their games, and he cashes in." "Believe me," I muttered, "I know. I didn't even know what the hell his job was. But I got in a few punches before the cops showed up." She perked up. "You kick him." "Damn right." Her eyes sparkled. "That actually makes my night." Then her tone shifted, just slightly. "Look, don't come down too hard on your wife," she said. "Brad's got this pull. He could talk a nun out of her vows. I've seen him work. Abby's not the first married woman he's seduced. But if I have my way, she'll be the last. I don't know if either of us will still be with our people when this is all over, but what I'm planning, it'll make them feel what we've felt." I leaned in. "So, what's the plan?" Before answering, she gave me this look, playful but meaningful. "Before we get into revenge mode, I just want to say, you're a good man, and you're pretty damn handsome too. I don't know how your wife screwed this up, but if I met you under better circumstances, I'd be tempted to shoot my shot." I smiled, flattered, but a little thrown. "That's generous of you, but you and I both know we come from different planets. Still, you're not just gorgeous, you're something else entirely." She tilted her head. "Maybe we are from different worlds. Doesn't change the fact that I find you very attractive." I didn't quite know what to say after that, so I just nodded. "All right, so what's next?" She sipped her wine, then laid it out. "Over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to become one of your clients." That caught me off guard. "Wait, what, a client? You're a financial advisor, right?" "Yeah." "Well, then I'm going to invest with you. Nothing shady, just legit business." But it means we'll need to meet 4 times, twice at your office and twice over lunch. I'll pick the restaurants. All right, I said slowly. I mean, to open an account, you've got to put in at least 10 grand. Oh, don't worry, she smirked. I'll be investing way more than that. I raised an eyebrow. And Abby doesn't get to know? Exactly, she said. You'll keep seeing her. Keep the reconciliation act going. Be sweet, be distant. No zex, no emotional deep dives. Then in 2 weeks, you let her move back in, but only physically. Nothing intimate. I nodded once. And after that? October 15th, she said, like she'd been rehearsing it. There's a charity gala. Black tie. I helped start the foundation years ago. Usually I only show up every other year, and this year I wasn't planning to attend, but now I'll be there. And so will you. With Abby. I exhaled. Those tickets go for 20 grand a head. I know, she said, that smile returning. And you're not paying a dime. I'll take care of it. I still don't get it, I said, feeling the tension rise in my voice. How does this actually accomplish anything? Rita just smiled like she was waiting for that moment. Well, John, part of the night's entertainment includes an escort auction, she said, sipping her wine. I blinked. Wait, an escort auction? Not that kind of escort, she said, laughing like I was the one with the dirty mind. It's a charity thing. Basically, women bid on men, most of them bachelors, and whoever wins gets to own their guy for the evening. It's harmless, kind of. The winner puts this little velvet collar on the guy, and from there, the night is theirs. She laughed again. Some married guys even volunteer. Makes it spicy for the wives. Sometimes the wife wins, sometimes she doesn't. Let's just say if a husband ends up with the wrong bidder, he better sleep with one eye open. I raised an eyebrow. You're telling me this year one married guy is going to get bought, and his wife isn't the one who wins? Rita nodded slowly, her smile growing. Exactly. And what happens after that? Well, let's just say it won't be rated PG. I must have still looked confused, because she reached over and patted my hand like I was missing the punchline. You're that married man, John, she said gently, and I'm the one who's going to win you. So here's what you need to do. Rent a tux, buy Abby a new dress, and show up at the gala as my guest, even if she doesn't know that part yet. That's when it finally hit me, what she was planning. And it was genius. Brad and Abby were about to get a front row seat to what betrayal looks like. Of course, it was all just for the optics, but one night of me on Rita's arm under the illusion of something scandalous would flip the whole narrative. The shame wouldn't be mine anymore. It would land squarely on Brad. And Abby, she'd finally get to feel the sting of humiliation I'd been carrying since that night. Maybe then we'd have a shot at rebuilding. Maybe even talk to someone. A counselor, a therapist. Start over if there was anything left to save. The next few weeks flew by faster than I expected. The first time Rita stepped into my office, the energy shifted. My assistants, all of them, looked like they'd just seen a unicorn in heels. Her presence wasn't loud. It was magnetic. Our lunch meetings were always tucked away in quiet, upscale places. Never the same spot twice. I didn't really understand why we had to meet in secret. We could have handled everything in my office. But truth be told, most of those meetings were just us talking about our pasts, our messes, our hopes. Rita wasn't just some Hollywood name. She was layered. She told me things about Brad, how much she loved him, how deeply she'd be crushed if they didn't make it through this. But she also made it clear, if Brad kept playing the same old games, she was done. A week before the gala, I let Abby move back in. We agreed to take things slow. I told her I'd be sleeping in the guest room. She didn't fight me on it. You could see she was hurting, but I wasn't in the mood to comfort her, not yet. Then, on the Wednesday before the event, I walked into the house holding 2 gala tickets. Abby's eyes lit up like it was Christmas morning. She started rattling off all the celebrities she thought might be there, barely containing her excitement. Then she suddenly stopped and looked at me, frowning. Wait, how much did you pay for these? She asked. Relax, I said. Didn't cost a thing. One of my clients offered them to me. Thought it'd be a fun night out. She grinned. I can't believe we're going to that gala. By the way, I added casually, you should get a new dress, something elegant, hot even. She looked like she just won the lottery, floating completely in a dream, and for a split second I felt a pang of guilt. But then I remembered that night, the one where I thought it would be magical, only to watch my wife walk off with another man. This wasn't revenge, it was balance. When we arrived at the gala, the place was already packed, easily 500 people. The energy was electric, the air thick with money and fame. Right by the entrance, there was a sign-up table for the auction. A bunch of guys were lined up filling out forms, sharp suits, movie star good looks. I turned to Abby and nudged her. "So, what do you think?" I asked, gesturing toward the table. "It's for charity. We didn't pay for the tickets after all. What if I sign up and you place a little bid on me?" She laughed, but it sounded forced, not like Rita's natural, effortless laugh. "I didn't bring any money," she said. "My purse barely fit my phone." No problem, I'd planned for that. I pulled $1,000 in cash out of my pocket and handed it to her. "Here," I said. "It's charity, so offer at least 200, but you've got plenty if it goes higher. You're worth it." She gave me a wide, flattered smile and tucked the cash into her clutch. I stepped into the line. When I got to the front, I filled out the form like everyone else. 18 or 20 names were already on the list. Honestly, if this hadn't been orchestrated by Rita, I never would have had the guts to volunteer for this thing. Just as I was about to walk away, the woman behind the table asked, "Are you married?" I nodded. She handed me a second form. "We'll need your wife to sign this, too. It's required for married participants." I waved Abby over and explained what was needed. She signed it without reading a single word. What she didn't realize, and what I didn't mention, was that by signing it, she had officially given permission for me to do whatever the winning bidder asked of me. Anything. With the paperwork done, we found our table. Rita had pulled some serious strings. We were seated with 2 rising starlets, a big-name TV host, and a couple of soap opera actors. Abby could barely contain herself. You could see the glow in her eyes, not just from the celebrities at the table, but from scanning the entire room like a starstruck teenager. Then the auction started. They began calling up the men one by one. I leaned over and gave Abby a smile before standing up. I already knew Rita had timed it perfectly. There were 24 names on the list, and I was the last one, right where she wanted me. By the time I was called up, the final man on stage, they'd already raised over $300,000. I'll admit the crowd was hyped, and the whole thing had an energy I didn't expect. A mix of laughter, tension, and champagne-fueled curiosity. "Our last contestant is a hometown guy," the host announced. Some famous game show personality with 2 white teeth and a voice made for infomercials. "Give it up for John Sawyer. He's married, father of 2, and I'm guessing his wife's out there somewhere counting pennies and planning to outbid everyone in the room. Let's kick things off at $50. Come on, he's worth at least 100, someone shouted. It was a gray-haired woman in the front row, clearly enjoying herself. "You any good at dishes, sweetheart?" I grinned. "I can wash and dry." That got a huge laugh out of the crowd. Another older woman chimed in, "Better than my husband already, I'll go 200. The bids started rolling in. 300, 500. Then I heard Abby's voice, shaky but loud enough. 1,000! Everyone cheered like it was a happy ending. But just as quickly, another voice, young, confident, called out, 2,000! It escalated fast. 5,000. Then 10. Abby's eyes darted around the room. She looked completely lost. I gave her a shrug, like this wasn't my idea. 15,000! Someone else shouted. I felt my stomach twist. I knew this was part of the plan, but damn, this was getting out of control. 20. 25. Then from the back of the room, a voice I knew all too well rang out, clear, unbothered. 100,000. Silence, like someone had slammed the brakes on the entire room. People turned to see Rita Summers casually strolling up to the front of the stage, looking like a damn movie still. She flashed a dazzling smile and said, "And just so we're clear, I don't even care if he can do dishes." The place erupted. I couldn't help it. I blushed. Rita stepped up, clipped the velvet collar around my neck, then leaned in and kissed me. Light, soft, perfectly timed. Then, just like we planned, I walked off the stage by her side, straight toward the table where Abby sat frozen, her face a mix of disbelief, embarrassment, and hurt. I handed Abby the car keys. "Look, I didn't sign up for this," I said calmly. "But rules are rules. Apparently, I belong to Miss Summers for the next 12 hours. Maybe more. You've got the car. I'll see you tomorrow." Rita and I danced the rest of the night. Every song, she leaned in, whispering things into my ear. Sharp, intimate, half playful, but always with an edge. Every so often, I'd glance across the room and catch Abby watching us, eyes glassy, lips trembling like she didn't recognize the world she was standing in. Eventually, Rita linked her arm through mine and pulled me close. Without a word, we walked out together. A limo waited outside. She slid in first, then patted the seat next to her, like we were heading into the next chapter of a novel. We hit a nightclub first, small, private, filled with familiar Hollywood faces. We danced, we drank. Then she took me to a private screening of some new indie film. The movie itself was forgettable, but the conversation afterward, with the director, a couple of actors, and some industry people, was surprisingly deep. Afterward, the limo took a turn toward a rougher part of the city. "I grew up here," she said, her voice quieter now. She pointed to a small street. "That house with the porch light still on? That was mine. Brad lived across the street." We didn't talk much more after that. It was almost 3 a.m. by the time we pulled up to one of her apartments, this one in the hills. She casually mentioned she owned 6 places: LA, NYC, Miami, 2 in Europe, 1 in South America. This one was massive, 3 floors, could have fit 2 families and a film crew. Inside, she poured us drinks and we sank into her office couch. I let out a low laugh. "You know, I wish I had a camera. Abby's face when you kissed me, priceless." Rita sat beside me, her hand resting on my knee. Not flirty, just close. "John," she said quietly, "did your wife ever really convince you nothing happened?" I stared at the floor. She tried. And yeah, part of me still wants to believe her, but the part that keeps me up at night? The part says I'll never know for sure, and it eats at me. Rita's smile faded. Her voice dropped lower. "I'm almost completely certain Brad slept with her," she said. "And whatever we're doing tonight, I call it even." Then she leaned in and kissed me, soft, deliberate, and sincere. Not staged, not part of some revenge fantasy. I'd expected theater. What I got instead was something real. I didn't pull away. What happened between us wasn't about rage or proving a point. It wasn't about payback. It was 2 broken people trying to reclaim something they'd both had ripped away. Dignity, maybe. Maybe just control. Maybe something more human than either of us was ready to admit. We didn't talk much after that. We didn't need to. There was warmth, there was closeness, and for a moment, the betrayal faded. Just enough for us both to breathe again. We fell asleep, tangled up in each other. No guilt, no shame, just quiet. When I woke up, Rita was already up, brushing her fingers along my arm with this amused little grin. "Your wife didn't try to call," she said, stretching, "so no rush." We showered together. She made coffee and something resembling breakfast while we waited for the limo. And somewhere in that quiet morning, I felt something shift. Just a little peace settling into my chest. When I walked into the house, Abby was curled up on the living room couch, tears in her eyes. "I didn't think you were coming back," she whispered. "The media's blowing up. Everyone's talking about Rita Summers dropping $100 grand on you. I kept telling myself it was just for show. But the way she looked at you, I don't know. Maybe it wasn't." She looked up at me, searching. "Is there still an us?" I sat down across from her. "First of all, nothing happened," I said. It wasn't a lie, not really. What mattered had already happened long before last night. She studied me, part fear, part hope. "She's my client," I continued. "She gave me those tickets. She thought what Brad did deserved a reaction. That donation? It was her yearly charity gift, just done a little louder this time to send a message." I met her eyes. "If you want to rebuild this, we can try. But it won't be easy. And I'm not doing it alone. It's therapy, it's honesty, it's work. But if you're all in, then so am I." Abby threw her arms around me and kissed me like she meant it. There wasn't heat behind it. It wasn't about lust. It felt more like 2 people trying to stitch something back together, trying to believe in us again. Later, we made love. Not wild or desperate, just quiet, honest, and necessary. That afternoon, I dozed off until the girls jumped on the bed, giggling and yelling, "Wake up, Daddy." We had dinner that evening, nothing fancy, just the 4 of us at home. And when the girls finally crashed, Abby and I sat out on the patio, holding hands in the dark. For the first time in a long time, I started to think maybe we were going to make it. We found a therapist, Wendy, tough, sharp, and surprisingly not the soft hug-it-out type I expected. Honestly, I figured a female counselor would automatically lean toward Abby. I was wrong. Wendy didn't play sides, but she held Abby accountable more than I thought she would. She told her flat out, "You were already pulling away from the marriage, whether anything physical happened or not. I hadn't checked out, Abby had, And whether or not there was a technical affair, Wendy made one thing clear: intent matters. Choices matter. And she was right. What Wendy didn't know was that I had been quietly pulling strings the whole time. The gala, the plan with Rita, the setup, it was all me. Still, therapy helped. A lot. Funny thing, though, ever since that whole nightmare, Abby can't stand watching movies. Won't go near a theater. Won't even turn one on unless the kids beg her. She'll tag along for animated stuff, but that's about it. As for Chad and Thelma, I dropped the charges against her. Told the DA she probably thought she was protecting her husband. But Chad, I let it ride. He got 3 months in the county lockup. Needless to say, they're no longer part of our friend circle. And Abby doesn't talk to Thelma anymore. After one brutal blow-up between them, that bridge went up in flames. Abby blames her for almost wrecking our marriage. I don't totally get the logic, but I'm not about to argue with her either. Oh, and Brad and Rita? Yeah, they ended up getting married in what the tabloids called the wedding of the century. Over 1,000 people, A-list everything. If you weren't on that guest list, you basically didn't exist in Hollywood. Spoiler, we weren't invited, but I still sent Brad a gift. A big, beautiful pair of bullhorns, real ones, along with a little handwritten note: "You stay away from my wife, I'll stay away from yours." Yeah, I was still pissed when I sent them. Thought I was being clever. But Rita told me later that Brad thought it was hilarious. Framed the note and mounted the horns in his office. Classic Brad. But it didn't last. This is Hollywood. That fairy tale fizzled out inside of a year. Turns out, Rita caught him messing around again. Married women, of course. She left, just like she said she would. It wasn't messy. No drama. They stayed friends. But I know she was heartbroken. Rita loved him. Deep down. I saw it in the way she talked about him. They had something real, but even that wasn't enough to survive his appetite for chaos. And yes, Rita's still my client. When we opened her investment account, she dropped a cool $1 million right in. I figured once her revenge tour wrapped up, she'd pull it. But she didn't. When that portfolio hit $1.5 million, she added another 2. We don't see each other in person anymore, not since the morning after the gala, but we talk, at least quarterly, sometimes more. A few times it's been strictly about her account. Other times, she just wants to talk about life, about regrets, about the weird ways people disappoint us. Rita's sharp, smart, surprisingly cautious with her money, especially for someone who lives in 5-star penthouses and travels by private jet. I don't know what her personal life looks like these days, but I do know when we go over her finances, we spend 20 minutes on the numbers and another hour just catching up. Once during one of those post-divorce calls, she said, "You know, I should have ditched Brad and kept you." I laughed. "Come on, Rita, we're from different worlds." She didn't miss a beat. "Doesn't mean I can't keep one eye on you. You ever find yourself alone again? I'll make you mine. No more games." She says it like a joke. I think she half means it. Either way, it's a nice fantasy to keep tucked away. As for Abby and me, we're about to hit 10 years. We've had rough patches. Some damn near tore us apart. But somehow we made it. And looking back, I know this much: if Rita hadn't stepped in when she did, I would have walked. I would have left. But she did, and I didn't, and now I can't picture life without Abby. Oh, and before I forget, Abby's pregnant, we're having a boy, and yeah, I can't wait to meet him.